15. So that top 7 is tight.
And it's important. Only the top 10 have the opportunity to move on to the winner's bracket, but it is a double elimination. So if your favorite team does end up placing after this game in the bottom 10, know that they still have an opportunity to compete and still claim to be one of the best here as we hit the ground with BDS Esports.
Yeah, we saw just now a little Thunderdome drop for the other side, but now BDS can be flying in and see what they can grab here over at the Thunderdome. But now also got to talk about in a minute the bubble, because it's real close at the end. But before we do that, I want to check in on all the drops. Let's go ahead and hear the command center, what you guys are seeing across the map.
Nate. Thank you so much, gentlemen. Yeah, we've been keeping our eyes on our champions, where everybody has been heading so far. Yep. They're just still pretty similar. Gambit going right back to the swamps that we were talking about. Wyvern's heading over down towards by Hydro Dam and following G2. They went straight to Skulltown.
And then Fnatic right back on over. They're going to be at containment. Above them is going to be complexity. They're going to be in artillery tunnels over there. So no quick engagements. This is game number 3. All these teams need to get the points needed to get into that top 10 and go on to the winner's side of the bracket. So once again, Brav and Dread, take it away.
Blaze and Nate, thanks so much for the breakdown. You did hear complexity there up north at artillery. We have seen them dropping Repulsor and Scrim, so interesting to see them all the way up north. We have to talk about the bubble Dread when we look at who is going to advance through here, who can advance through here. Mathematically,
everyone to some extent, right? You has the opportunity if you sit on the lower half of the bracket. But the interesting part is in that like 9 through 14 range, which is at the breaking point on who makes it to the winner versus losers bracket.
Yes, we are looking at complexity in 9th with 10, Triumph with 8 there. As we take a look, Athame and Kusar Red all with 8, and Team Liquid White, excuse me, all with 8 points. So that bubble could not be closer. And like we said, if you look at a team at the bottom, maybe Estral, maybe Chaos, SJP2, North, making a huge run here, they could even break into the top 10 as well. As a reminder, if you do place out of the top 10 here, you will head to the losers bracket, while the rest of our top 10 teams will continue on in the winners bracket later today.
And this is our deciding match for Group A. There is no other opportunity to set yourself apart from the pack. And you know, if you need a little bit of a TLDR, those numbers, you don't like them, you're like, I don't want to hear numbers, Bravo. Easiest way to look at it. We got 5 teams that are 1 kill apart from deciding if they're actually going to make it to that winner's bracket. And that is absolutely crucial towards their success for the rest of the tournament. Having that breathing room of, you know, being able to risk a loss later on will really help out.
Absolutely. Now, still checking in with Estral Esports. This is your 20th place team right now, 1 point on the board. It would take quite a special performance from them to break into that top 10, but keep in mind, they are actually only 8 points away from the 10th spot. So even though these are 3-game sets, that's going to be a reason that really at the end of most of our 3-game sets, barring any crazy numbers, each team is still going to be in a position to advance through.
And one way that I always try and convey it to people is that unlike a majority of tournaments in esports, when you look at the formats, when you're like, I'm in last place, what are the odds that I can do any amount of dent in my final game to recover? One thing to think is BRs only have so many points available. And more importantly, if you take the lion's share of those points, you're denying others. It's actually, it double downs on your success that you have. It's almost near exponential. And so because of that, what I'm trying to highlight is if you're in last, you have the best chances of actually making that shift in BRs than any other esport, any other format. And so it's not over for any of these teams.
Absolutely. Now taking a look back at Estral, as you see they're trying to fight through, and looks like they do not want to take that battle there to the west, and they're going to instead cycle back. Lots of damage coming in there for Chicken McPoppy, which is a fantastic tag.
I mean, yeah. I can tell you, I don't know what it is, but I want one.
Yeah.
That's all I know here is give me a Chicken McPoppy.
Chicken McPoppy with fries, if you can.
Okay, that's the American answer.
Maybe 2.
We're in Poland with maybe pierogi? With pierogi. I want pierogi.
You're right. I shouldn't have said fries. Yeah.
Grow up a little bit here. Anyways,
hey, we had some great pierogi, some great kielbasa. We've had some fantastic stuff that Krakow has had to offer. But now checking in with Kessar Generation Red, and they're going to be pushing out of labs. Right now, it looks like they are alone here. And not too much going on. They've Watsoned up labs, though, and take a look at the ring. There's a reason they've done that.
Understandably so, considering that final ring. And it is going to be very, very interesting if we do find ourselves with the lab semicircle. You see the double kind of locked doors here being heavily defended by Quasar.
Yeah, I was going to say, they've got 2 sets of blast doors, and they're hiding behind the second one, and both of them are Watsoned up. So we could see them spending quite a bit of time here. We'll have to see exactly where those final rings will be, but for the moment, Exco there, Watson is going to keep dropping as many fences as he can, and he will create a labyrinth of terror for any team that wants to try to come into labs.
Yeah, those are the worst kind of mazes, absolutely. And here, Quasar is just going to be a slow and steady pace. And to be honest, we've been talking about how we expect teams to be very, very slow at the earlier stages and some of the slowest lobbies that we've got. I thought that the standout performance by Wyvern might be enough to change that because they struggled in game 2. Can't but feel like we're going to see ourselves at a slow pace again.
Yeah, take a look here. Nice little ult there as we go back over to Gabe. Do have that Disruptor ult in play. You saw some shots being exchanged. Some good shots as well on that purple here from Gabe.
Yeah, nice ability to be able to hit with the Scout at this range. Scout is a weapon that basically you need to have near perfect accuracy. The longbow is a little bit more forgiving. If you hit 1 out of 10 shots, you've still had a lot of damage done on the other side. Not a true story when looking at that Scout. So we'll see if maybe Gabe can continue that trend, as on the receiving end of his scope was in fact Veinless here for Triumph.
Yes, indeed. Like you said, longbow on this other side. They're going to try to fight out of the back of the map and see if they can get any damage here. This is once again a distance and a stage, Dreadnought, where you have to doubt, even if we do see quite a bit of damage coming through, it would be quite a push to try to make that happen. And likely at this stage, if you take a look exactly where Triumph is on the table, they're in 10th. Yeah. With 9 points, not really a risk that they even need to take at this stage.
But at the same time, Complexity resides just 1 tick above them. So it's one of those moments that if they could somehow identify who they're facing, right, take that down. Right. Again, you're not just helping yourself, you're making sure Complexity isn't a name that resides above you in these leaderboards.
Absolutely, a lot of that is going to be going on. Of course, these teams not only having to worry about their placing and the kills they get on the board, but also who they're going up against, who they're spotting. Is that a valuable enough a limb to make those riskier pushes?
I really like this positioning, though, for Triumph, because they, as we can already see over that next circle, because of the Pathfinder just sitting on the side. They also already know that nobody can be advancing from that eastern end. It is a near dead zone because of how long the circle's been there. They've already zoned it out. And so it's going to be fine for them for now. The question is, over the next rotation, is that going to be a problem? Not only because of the complexity, but also we know that the lab has a problem kind of waiting there.
There's a bit of a lair waiting at the lab, and I don't think any of these teams is going to want to have to enter what we saw being created at Bottom Labs. But I want to talk about this route and this circle that's starting to develop here, Dreadnought, because you and I have talked a lot about this move west from this eastern corner of the map when you are moving laterally. Not really a fun one as you get pushed.
Yeah, it has a lot of weird kind of moments that can come to light where once you get past that middle river, you hit yourself in a heavy choke that if you have to move past, if anybody's there, they have a massive high ground advantage and can really just put you in a lose-lose kind of scenario here. Alliance, though, maybe in a bit of one themselves, as we see armor being lost on Lowly and Vifes.
Yeah, absolutely. And Badoli's still just running a white, and actually Vifes also just running the white, so they're going to have to play this as slow as possible to try to get themselves into a better circumstance. And to be honest, they probably want to avoid engaging due to that armor situation at all if they can.
Somerset already out here for Gambit Gaming. And Sign moving back here with the rest of the squad and just going to go ahead and heal up. They're in a fine position, but they're also in the middle of everything. It's just whether or not they can heal back up and make a rotation to a position that they feel like they can actually defend, because I can't help but feel like the back of this pickup truck is not the place they want to be long term.
Shots are coming in here, and they are pinned up. Looks like BDS also taking the shots over. It looks like Gambit is able to get out of it. And I also want to say, talking to Lucido last night, he was saying at X Games, at this stage of the game, they would run into open areas, Misfits would, and no one would even shoot, right? So there's a little bit of time, especially as teams are playing super careful, where, for example, Gambit is able to get out of that type of situation at this stage in the game.
Yeah, it is very, very interesting, where it's that level of like, oh, wait a minute, hold on. Got a bit of a trade there. No armor left here. Sign actually going to be pressured out a little bit more. Eva 8 going to tick out 7. Swaps back over to the alternator. Not enough to be able to get the knock, but at least enough to be able to shield up now.
Ooh.
And if that longbow lined up. Headshot almost available as it does land on that third one.
That will break shells. Look like Gambit will just come back. And looks like we have seen, it feels like early game Gambit, they have not had an easy road. We've always checked in with them.
And they're either hustle, man. Almost every time we look at them, it's a dark time, but boy, are they doing their darndest.
Well, yeah, 20 squads left, and they're running white armor and in 2v3s, and somehow we're at 6 squads left, and they're still there, generally with their white armor as well. They are resilient. And we're starting to see, here we are now looking at BDS. They are now up here at Top Labs and looking down in there. And, of course, as you'd expect, KSR Red, they still have their Labs Fortress nice and tuned, and you could bet there's even more fences behind.
Yeah, it's near unapproachable for anybody who wants to make the transfer in. The question I have here for Quasar Generation Red is clearly they are so placement oriented right now. I just wonder, are they risking too much on the point front from the kill aspect because they bunkered up so quickly, within the lab itself? It just feels like it's one of those concerns I was raising throughout for Fnatic, always through X Games, is are they getting enough kills to really matter here?
Now checking back in with them here, we just see also some action there just north of Cage, so we'll keep an eye on that battle as well, as teams are going to have to come in also from that western side, from the center of the map, and make their way into that open area you and I were talking about.
Here over towards the swamp side of this divide. Alliance still glancing in with them. Bedoli with a classic wingman Peacekeeper, alternating residing as a second choice here for Vice. They have a good position, though, because they have two opportunities in directions they can go. And actually, they sniff out a zip line. It's going to make a very difficult advance for the other side. I don't think that is going to be even near a possible zip line to take, but also leaving maybe a trace route if they would like to follow down. But Alliance just Watson up and walk away. Yeah, but it's going to give them, of course, ability to disengage. And probably a lot of that reason is just the fact that they're running two whites still here. Not a lot of armor on that side. But now checking in with Luminosity Gaming. And here Chipsy's able to break as he's going to continue the push with the 301.
Go to the right, go to the right.
And now this looks like here, hearing some team comms as well, we'll listen in.
Okay, don't overcommit right now. I need to heal. We got a minute. Okay, we got a minute. It's ending labs outside, I think. What armor does he have? Hit gray. Intels. Grab it.
Grab now.
Grab it. I'm grabbing everything cranked. Did he have light ammo? Yeah, he did.
We still have plenty of time. Let's prep. Let's back prep.
Yeah.
If we get a kill there, we didn't, did we?
We didn't. They took the kill.
A few more meters to the ring.
Dropping. I have 9 now. 9.
Shield cell here.
Yeah, got it.
Team's fighting here. Team right here on the...
Over there.
They're out in the open ones, yeah. Careful.
Great. The ring is close.
Come with you. We're not with you yet. We're like 40 seconds. They're not really close to zone. If they're getting held, we're just gonna walk into a hole. We're just gonna walk into a hole if we do this, by the way. Yeah, okay.
A few more meters and we'll be inside the ring.
Enemies. Hostile spotted.
Pathfinder, Pathfinder. 1 HP Pathfinder. I literally can't see when I shoot right now, bro. In the crevice. 50 blue. Yeah, we're not in zone. We need to rotate around. Okay. Wanna wrap north or just go straight east?
Enemy over there. Ring's coming in. Let's go there.
I think we got it. Feel low? I believe so. Fnatic here. It was nice to be able to hear some of the perspective there. You could hear some of the concern in the comms earlier from the group we tuned in there, wanting to be very, very patient with their approach, but so much action happening on that side of the map now here, Bravo.
Absolutely. Now back on board with Wyvern. Some great shots there with the ult. Now back over here.
Talk about a present, man. Lands on right in front of you there after that grapple.
And now the big question, of course, is for Wyvern. They're sitting pretty on points, once again at 25. And as long as they're able to rack up some here, they should be all right. But, I mean, if you look at it, still 18 squads left. Nothing really fully secured for them.
Yeah, nothing given for free whatsoever here at the Invitational camp. I feel like that's the case here. Complexity, though, able to get the res off. But look at Gabizmon. Actually, he swapped over to the purple armor and already almost got near knocked on the other side, though. Chaos struggling a bit here. We see the RE45 attempt coming out, but that Peacekeeper ripping through Choppa's shields.
They're trying to get pop the bat if he can. It looks like he might actually have the time to do so, which will maybe allow him to fight another day and try to escape here.
See him try to get the retreat. One more shot came through. The 301 from behind. Going to go ahead and hit a chip.
Looks like should be good. I mean, Nesting Grounds kind of gives you that cover where you can, as long as you keep strafing, sliding through those little hill areas, you can generally get away. And as long as he has the time here, should be able to disengage and maybe try to fight through this solo.
He's going to be able to wait. Those shots that you did hear come in through that 301, I believe were actually already knocked there. I think a Peacekeeper came in on the backside to be able to threat. And Chipsy, one of those members, being able to get that knock.
Need an ult to sell. I know. I'm at.
I'm leaving our stop.
Saw some good composure from them
I need
earlier as well.
I need syringes and shit.
45 seconds.
Here, I'm dropping.
Rings close.
On me. I dropped you 4.
Exciting to be
Let's
able
go
to hear
this
some
way.
of the
This guy has
perspective here from LG.
Alternator here.
Can't but feel like what was
Yo,
a
I can
controlled
do
early
that.
game for game number 3, or excuse me, for games number 1 and 2 is going to be a pretty chaotic back end when it comes to their comms. Meanwhile, with Alliance, we saw them with the Swamps decision making on the backside of this kind of pillar, and it seems they haven't really moved out from it whatsoever here.
They are right here, and as you'd expect, given that lack of movement, they are still running that white armor as well. So could be tricky late game for them as well. Now taking back on with Wyvern. They're looking good here in Shields.
Notice how they actually traded up in 2 different initiations while they have the low ground. This is a part of the reason why so many teams kind of fear Wyvern here. They end up hitting on one of the Arc Stars, maybe baiting it out. We see Karanpe able to zone off for quite a little bit of time. Double grenade though, forcing him back. He's going to be in a bad spot. There's going to be an easy knock. HSL just making it rain from above here, hail if you will.
Yeah, they're going to have to pull back here. They've got that nice high ground, so there's no reason that Rama really needs to fight this alone here. He's got Krems healing up on the high ground. And now he finally comes back. I'm not sure about that choice. And they played a 1v1 when they easily could have came back up and played that as a 2v1.
My goodness.
And just like that, or 2v2 if we had Parka all the way down to the bottom of the stairs as well. But look at that now. Noda's also pushing in on HSL there.
Yeah, it's actually insane what we're getting from Wyvern. Down a man, down of the high ground, doesn't matter. They find a way to be able to win this initiation. Now hide and heal up in the downtime on the backside of this. It does come at the cost of Karanpe there as you see him going down to the outer circle looking for the armor, but a fast heal backpack waits in the wakes there here for Wyvern.
Now back with Krems. I have to say I'm really surprised to see the decision to allow that up the stair choke to fight that 1v1. Potentially a lack of communication. Not sure exactly. Maybe we'll get a chance to take a look at that clip later. But now 13 squads remaining. We did see 4 go down there through those engagements.
And we see there the Fnatic perspective here. Doing all right when it comes to some of the kills, but not so much when it comes to the resources across the board. Down a man and down some armor there on just Shiny Spirit. Able to zone off with a few. Shiny questioning if he wants to try and peek over this wall. Muffins is not going to be an option until they push back this team. Grenades come through, force the repositioning now, but they take shots in the downtime. You see Spirit losing his armor, Shiny losing everything too. Fnatic even make it out of here as you see Shiny just leave everything here and go for a Hail Mary towards the center circle.
Yeah, you have to assume that the Spirit was like, you go ahead. There's no way we're going to be able to fight this out. And now to check in here with Team Liquid White.
Got to respect the fact that he was willing to sacrifice. One of the biggest things that you can highlight that we just saw from Fnatic is if 2 people are going to that same rotation and it's high risk, you're essentially giving free shots to your opponent, not having to look at 2 different points. But Liquid maybe now having to look at 2 different points there after that loot box getting pressured in, forcing now an iframe onto Mad Ruski and Parka questioning if he wants to push up.
Lots of damage coming in for Ruski. Forced to queue out now. Back to here to Wyvern. It's Parka and Selly fighting alone. 10 squads remaining here as things are getting tight. We wondered what we'd see around Labs, and we're already getting it in our first series of the day.
Yeah, it's really exciting there, and we haven't even kind of tuned back in with what was the early setup of the Labs. We'll figure out what kind of unleashes there. It's still taking the perspective of Wyvern, and you know, Bravo, I already highlighted it a little bit before, but I am so impressed with what that roster's been able to do here already in Group A.
Also, love what I saw Parker rocking there. I believe he's got a Disruptor ult and then the Lone Star Peacekeeper. Maybe my favorite skin on the Peacekeeper. But now I think we just saw a little bit of pushing out of Bottom Labs, which I'm not sure I expected to see. But here we go. We are getting thick. 9 squads left.
Gabizmon and Mirko both took a lot of damage from that outer ring. Gabizmon is actually going to heal up in the downtime. Don't think it's going to bite him here quite yet. Bunch of gold here across the board for the loot. Cali trying to dish out some shots. Able to break the armor, but not enough for a knock. Liquid with the high ground. Seems like it's just a formality there over that last shot, but you see those longbows off on the eastern side.
It's a good place to be for Liquid White. Gonna go ahead and take a minute moment. You wouldn't expect this much time for them given their spot, but they certainly have an advantage here as we go ahead and see. 0-0 in red, also trying to fight through. And things are coming down to the Labs, and it's gonna get hot. If you wanted to see what the action was gonna be like on the newest part of the map, we are getting it here in this first set.
Oh, look at this. 0-0 on the outside. Actually has to take a Wraith Portal onto the other side of the wall. I can't help but feel like there's no way he's going to get the full healing off in this downtime with those grenades. Seems like it's going to be a true story there. Nice use of the iframe. We'll see if anybody actually tries to push in, knowing that this target is actually knocked there. Red, not going to be pressured at all, and the heal comes through, but now Liquid unleashing havoc here.
Should get that finish. You have to think there, at least a knock coming through, as they're going to just stay alive here up on this top nesting grounds area.
Everything looking good. Kali able to heal back up. Battery going through. Kalar Not under too much pressure here quite yet. They do see a thirst coming through, but that's not problematic. But Ruski's health bar now is becoming one, forcing out now a Phoenix kit. 8 seconds before they're going to feel too comfy. And look, Complexity doesn't want that to happen. They want to try and pressure in this downtime where they have a minor winner. They get the break onto one armor, but it is not enough to force the push. Maybe prod, though.
Yeah, here they go now. It looks like they do find out what's going on down the bottom of the hill. They're going to try to get this wipe as well. No, they're going to queue out and try to stay alive here now, falling back over to the truck, and lots of chaos here. Still 6 squads left.
But the grenade is there as well. They're zoning them off, and now they get the one knock onto one. Is he going to take the raid portal? No, Complexity stuck in a bad spot, and they're going to be pincered out now back here with Team Liquid White, who has been dominating over this high ground in the final circle. Clean up HSL. And now we have 4 squads remaining, but we know that one exists down below.
I mean, they have to be down. We haven't seen it yet, but they have to be down bottom labs, and we could even have more than one team down there. So we could have forced engagements down at bottom labs. They can portal out, of course, so we're going to have to see exactly when they're waiting to. We can assume maybe that there are several teams at bottom labs with the opportunity to portal out.
So here is a very weird moment as the circle is going to close in even more. It's very important to know that they can min-max as much damage as they possibly can over some of these circles going forward.
On completely different elevations as well.
What you do is you start the pre-heal onto the med kit so that within 3 ticks of damage that you have the opportunity to finish that. When you finish that, then you go through the Wraith portal that you've already had established. You use the Wraith iframe back through the Wraith portal. That is the most distance gained if they could close this out because of that positioning.
Shiny is here all the way at the top of this stump, and Nesting Grounds is just trying to stay alive, getting absolutely ripped. That will be Fnatic and A that goes down back over to Liquid White, and it looks like right now, Dread, Liquid White is the only team who's up here on the higher ground of Nesting Grounds.
And no, with Mimu, he's got Mimu just waiting here in the tree. Can they find him?
Oh my word.
Oh gosh, not like this. No, Liquid White.
Oh my.
You could kiss him. Oh my goodness.
They haven't spotted. Look at that reaction here out of Mimu.
Like,
they haven't spotted him yet.
Seems good. Yeah.
And he's going to wait for the opportunity, either just to stay alive or potentially third party, see how things play out here.
Yeah, the main goal for Mimu is just can he out-survive Team Liquid versus the what feels like unapproachable lab positioning on the bottom half. There's the portal I'm talking about before. We'll see if we get the Wraith pre-heal. To be honest, this is a theory craft thing that I've actually not seen cleanly executed ever before, but it should be able to amplify that time. Mimu.
They found him, and that's going to be it. It was a good run to watch for Mimu, but G2 will be eliminated. That means 2 squads left here, and that means here, Dread, we have Liquid here all the way at top Nesting Grounds above what is Labs and the underground bits of Labs. And now, yeah, it's going to get interesting here.
It's important to note that 9XT has actually taken enough damage that if he takes 1 tick, he's going to lose 1 tick advantage that he would have had because of his HP being too low. Here's the pre-kit. Yep, get the timer. Wait. It's not going to be a problem yet. Nobody's pressuring. Now we have to wait for the next circle. Same decision making. Look, so who can prep their med kit better? That is the question. Now it's important to know, whoever takes the portal, it's important to keep the Wraith alive only. If multiple people take the portal, you actually lose a tick of damage on the outside, which costs Wyvern. We see the damage come through, portal attempt 1, they're going for it. And now watch on the back end of this, as it closes in, this is going to be so tense. Who can get the pre-prep? The fast heal backpack, debatably, might actually be a setback.
Here they go.
They're going to go for it, buying as much time. 9XT is the only one who should stay alive here. He's going to go for the heal, go back through the portal, buy as much time as you possibly can. Iframe 1, go back through this portal for Ruski. There it is. Ruski somehow actually got the timer, even when Labs down below, from the moment 1 set up for that exact situation to happen, and Liquid just clutches it out.
And we talk about situations we haven't seen before in competitive Apex, and these moments we haven't seen play out with the very late game meta. Add that to